I hope and pray that y'all are all doing phenomenally well. So, what I wanted to do in this training, instead of just doing a pre recorded video, I said, hey, why not just go live? So, this way, hopefully, as people begin to hop on, I can answer any questions that y'all leave in the comments or in the chats. Um, Please like, subscribe, share all of those good things there. The channel is growing, and one thing that I want to make sure that we are doing is that we are spreading the message that we are a community that is about serving other people, that we are building generational wealth by serving other people. But like the title of this video says, I want to cover comping. So I posted a question yesterday evening on my Facebook saying, hey, what are y'all struggling with? How can I help you achieve your real estate investment goals? One of the comments was comping. Okay. So my goal is to, if anybody left a comment, I'm going to actually do a YouTube video, an instructional video on all of those topics here. So if it's something you want to know, you can even leave it here in this comment and I'll be sure to do a video. I don't want to just give you fluff information. I want to give you information that you can go and take and apply and start transforming your life in real estate investing. Okay. So that's very, very important to me. Now, let's deep dive into comping. Okay. What I want to do is I want to share my screen here. Hopefully y'all can see this. I have PropStream pulled up. I love using PropStream. I've been using PropStream since I've been in this industry 6 years now. There'll even be a link in the description for a free 7-day free trial, y'all. There are tons of companies that are pop up that say they do this and they do that, but PropStream has been around forever. So let's start with comping some addresses. Actually, let's just take one of these addresses here that I've comped previously. And let's say the first thing that we want to do when we're in PropStream is we want to simply put in the address, okay? Once we have the address pulled up, you'll go over here where it says details. It'll say estimated equity details. We'll click on that right under there, okay? Then it's going to bring us to this page. And this is where you're going to find all the goodness on these properties in regards to mortgages, estimated balance, estimated equity, owner information, square feet on properties, all of that good stuff that you can find. There's tons and tons of information here that they give you on all of these properties. But here's one thing that I want you to know that I want to throw out there. Do not get lost in all of this information, okay? So many people start to spend or have analysis paralysis running their comps, looking at all of this information. In fact, I'll share a little funny disclaimer. I don't pay attention to all of this mortgage details and all of that stuff, okay? I don't care about that. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to go to comparables and nearby listings, okay? So once we click on that, it's going to bring in all of our comps. So we want to unselect all of the boxes, right? We want to go through here and see what's what. It's going to give us under the date range a preset number or preset range. So it's going to pull all of the comps for the last year. It's going to be automated. So if you want to filter that down, let's say, for example, when I'm just wholesaling properties, I'll go and look at comps for the last year. I'm completely fine with that. If I'm going to be flipping a property, I actually want to break those down, believe it or not, I do. So I might look at things from the whole year, but then I say, okay, let's see what sold in the last 6 months. Let's see what sold in the last 3 months, right? And I'm going to see if I can notice any type of market trends. Are things sitting on the market longer than they were last year? Are things going upward in value or going down? You know, are they getting asking price or below asking price? So when you know that you want to actually flip these properties, I think it's extremely important that we take the extra time to look at things from a holistic perspective in regards to that. But for the sake of wholesaling, this is extremely, extremely simple. Okay. It shouldn't take you 5, 10 minutes to run comps. In fact, when you're just wholesaling, it will be your end buyers that spend more time running the comps. Okay. So we have a date range set for a year, and then the distance is automatically set for a half a mile. Okay. You can always adjust that. If I have tons of comps, like it looks like we have plenty of comps right here, I can actually shorten that to 25 or a quarter of a mile, which actually wouldn't be bad, and see what we have. So now I know that I'm getting comps right here within my neighborhood. If I didn't have any comps, or if this is in a rural area, I could also take this back a mile, right? So we take it out a mile. Now we're just over flooded with comps. Okay. We got more comps than we know what to do with. So let's go back. And I actually like that quarter mile setting in this particular area just because there's so many comps right here. And this keeps me in my area. But the first thing that I want to do too when I'm comping, like if you noticed, I'm in this tight little pocket. I'm not crossing over any major intersections. So what is this, Highway 29? I wouldn't be comping anything over here. I wouldn't even be going across. I don't know if y'all can see my mouse, this uh, little road, Campington Road, if I'm saying that correctly. Like, I don't even want to cross over here, because have y'all ever heard the statement, the other side of the tracks, right? You can literally, even though it's a half a mile or a mile within each other, but sometimes you can cross over the tracks, so to speak, and then now you're going into a completely, completely different style community. Are you with me on that? So it's important that we stay in our little pocket there where our property is. Okay. So I'm doing that. Let me unselect my comps here. And now I want to take a look at the pictures. And I typically start with the furthest and I go outward. Okay. Or the closest and I go outward. I think I said that backwards. So let's see what number 2 is here. They have pictures. We're going to take a look. I like this. This house right here is a perfect comp. It has been completely remodeled. Hopefully, if you're watching this, would you disagree with me? Put yes or no in the comment, right? Would you disagree that this house has not been full? This house has been fully remodeled, okay? One way that I can tell, those floorings look new. Those bathrooms look new. If you also look over here at the year built, it says year 1948. Well, this house did not look like this in 1948. Are you with me? So this lets me know that it's also been rehabbed. Another step that I can do is I can copy this address and let's just simply throw it into Google. We might be able to find the old listing and see what details we have here. It says, bring all offers. Don't miss out on this 1940s renovated 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Are you with me? So even in the listings, it tells me that this house has been fully renovated. Okay. Now, if you notice here, this is one thing that I really, really want to point out that so many people get stuck on. Okay. So this house right here is 1,100 square feet. Okay. Our house is 921 square feet. So that doesn't mean that we're going to get $207,000 for our house just because they got that for their house. Remember, let me expand myself here. Houses are sold on a price per square foot model, okay? So that's extremely important for you to know. So I don't necessarily need you to comp 3 bedrooms with 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms with 4 bedrooms. I can literally use a 2 bedroom comp and a 3 bedroom comp because I'm just going to take the price per square foot. Does that make sense? So that's what we're looking for when it comes to comps. So many people are trying to use apples for apples, so to speak. And they're like, well, I don't see a 3 bedroom, 2 house exactly like this. So I can't find any good comps. Well, you don't need to, okay? Because they're sold on a price per square foot. So when we select that property as a comp, now it gives me a price per square foot of $188.64. Okay. So that's one comp. Let me try to find a second comp here. That was 2. Let me see what 6 is. So these look like pictures before they renovated. Let me see, because I still might use it. I'm going to copy this address and I'm going to actually see if I can find some finished pictures and find the old listing maybe. It says Diamond in the Rough is looking for savvy investors. So all I'm doing here, y'all, I'm sorry, is I'm just going through trying to see if I can find some finished pictures of it. So I really can't, so I'm not going to use that one for a comp. Let's see what 4 looks like. This one I won't use for a comp because you can tell here that it has not been updated. Okay. So if it's not been updated, we can't compare them, right? We are trying to look for our after repair value. What can these houses sell for that are fully fixed up, fully renovated? All right. So this one is out of the equation. Let's see here. This one is a good comp. So just looking at this, again, this is a 1950 build. New flooring, new paint. Those look like brand new windows to me. You can typically tell a house that has been fully remodeled for the most part. New bathrooms. I love it. So we have 2 solid comps here that have been fully renovated. Okay. And so I don't know if this will share my calculator, but maybe if you're working this with me. So if we take that, gives us a price per square foot of $202 a square foot. And now we want to multiply that number by the square feet on our house, which is 924 square feet. So let me get my phone here. I'm going to use the calculator. So if I take 924, multiply that by 202, that gives us 186,000 is our ARV for this property. Okay. That's how we're going to find out what our ARV is on this house. So I think that's perfect. It fits in alignment with some of these other houses because you see they sold for 150, 185, things of that nature. Because sometimes, let me stop sharing this or do this. Sometimes things can actually work in the reverse. So yesterday, ironically, on one of my mentorship calls with the community, we had somebody that actually had the largest house in the neighborhood. Okay. And that doesn't always play in your favor sometimes. So, say, for example, if all of the houses in a specific community are selling for 300,000, but because this house is bigger than every other house, and you multiply that square feet, and now the ARV comes out to like 600,000, but there's literally no comps whatsoever that support somebody paying $600,000 for a property in this community, then that's not going to work. So there's a little bit of gray area here that we are playing in that I really, really need you to know and understand. So I hope this makes sense. So if this happens, what I end up doing, I look for the houses that have sold for the most. Let's say we had 2 or 3 houses that sold for around 380 or 385. That's what I'm going to use as my base number, because in my mind, I'm thinking if they sold that house for 380 that's been fully renovated, I should not have any issue whatsoever selling my house once it's fully renovated at that same price, especially when it's bigger. Okay. But you have to be mindful, if you base your numbers off of that 600 ARV and nothing can justify that, you can end up putting yourself in a very, very, very bad position, period. Especially if you are going to be flipping it. In fact, I have had several investors that have done that, okay, that come to me like struggling, they lost money, like not in my community. I'll say that, not in our community. But it's important that you pay attention to those things, okay? Because think about it like this. If this particular area is everybody in that area is buying houses around 300,000. Well, somebody that can afford a $600,000 house may not want to live in that community. So you'll find that some communities have like income gaps or caps on them, rather. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense here. I hope I'm not confusing anybody, but comping does not need to be intimidated. Comping does not have to be hard or difficult. Many of the times we overthink them. All right. Just run your comps very quickly. When you're filling out your contracts, there's going to have a due diligence period. So if you know that you want to buy these properties, you can spend some time, some extra time comping it just to make sure things are in alignment. But I hope and pray that this was helpful for y'all. Please leave in the comment below. This video was inspired by somebody literally telling me they were stuck on comping. Okay. So if it's something that you're stuck on, I do not mind creating a video if it's going to help you achieve your financial goals and transform your life through real estate investing, right? Also, there's going to be a link for my all new free wholesaling boot camp. Let's kickstart your real estate investing journey. So click on that link below. Enjoy it. It's about a 45-minute training. You'll get instant access, and I promise you, it will be well worth the time when it comes to wholesaling real estate. But y'all have a beautifully blessed one. I'll see y'all soon.